Do you find yourself overthinking and worrying about things that haven't even happened yet? Do you have a constant inner dialogue that never seems to shut off? Well, guess what? You're not alone. Having coached over 200 people and interviewed over 600 people on the Inspired Evolution podcast, I've come to learn that this is a common problem for many people. But the great news is that there are ways to calm your inner voice, the inner critic, and find genuine peace and happiness on the inside. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Amrit here once again to help you live a life you love. There is a voice in our head that's always running in the background, and it's continuously commenting on our life and what's happening around us. And this is our self-talk. For some of us, we're super blessed, it's positive, but for most of us, we have a negative bias, and this is called negative self-talk. The reason we have a negative bias is evolutionary. We don't want to fall out with the tribe, so we can become overly critical of ourselves. It's almost like a safety mechanism. However, when we start overthinking and dwelling on the negative in our life, these thoughts can generate unnecessary unhappiness and even ultimately have an impact on our physical health and our stress. The first big step to even identify that you have an inner voice, and also then to work with that critical inner voice, is mindfulness. Mindfulness is all about being present in the present moment and somehow watching yourself rather than being present with what's going on in the moment. One of the best metaphors is you usually engage with your thoughts in your everyday doing and you're like basically in a car driving along a highway. But the moment you take some time for mindfulness, it's almost like you pull over, hop out the car, and you're now sitting on the side of the road watching all the cars go by. Every car represents a thought. So the thoughts are just going past, but you're able to actively sit away from the thought, not necessarily have to engage in a thought, not actually be in a car going along with a thought, but you can actually just watch what the thoughts are. That gives you the opportunity to have a little bit more awareness with that little bit more space from your thoughts. And the ability to pay attention to your thoughts, you can notice the trend of your thoughts. Are they overly negative or are they positive? The key encouragement in mindfulness is to not bring judgment to it. It's just to notice with loving attention. If they're negative, that's also fine. If they're positive, that's also fine. A powerful position is that you are not actually your thoughts. And this is a real gift of mindful living. Now that you've become aware of your thoughts, you can actually start to identify patterns. And if you practice mindfulness consistently, just even a little bit consistently, you can start to notice the trend of your thoughts. And from there, you can really start to see what it is that you need to work on. The second powerful strategy to help you with your negative thoughts is to challenge them. We recently did an episode with Gabby Bernstein, and the biggest body of work that I've gotten from her is about being able to choose again. When you catch yourself thinking something negative, ask yourself, is it really true? Like really true? Not just society true, not just kind of collective true. Is it really, really, really true? And potentially, is there another way to look at this situation? Often, most of our negative thoughts are based on negative past experiences, and they don't necessarily add up to the absolute truth in the current situation. And therefore, applying the ability to choose again can be extremely useful. The third and final thing is to focus on the positive things in your life. This is where gratitude is one of the best practices to improve your life and help you evolve. As we mentioned in point 1, it is human tendency to dwell on the negative, to focus on it a little bit more than usual. It's called the negative bias, and it's a primitive survival mechanism. But consciously focusing on the good in your life, you can actually train through neuroplasticity your mind's ability to look at life with greater and greater and greater levels of positivity. And this doesn't have to be super hard. Every night before going to bed, you can just check in with your partner if you've got a partner, or check in with yourself, or keep a little journal. 3 things you are grateful for today. One of my favorite ways to practice this is I've got a gratitude meditation on the YouTube channel. You can check it out. I'll put a link to it in the show notes below. And I literally just go through 3 things for your work you're grateful for, 3 things for your life you're grateful for, 3 friends you're grateful for, and more. And by the end of it, you've already expressed gratitude for 12 different things in your life, and you are just brimming with positivity. Learning how to calm the voice inside can be extremely useful, as it can have a profound impact on your stress and your outlook on life, ultimately impacting the most important thing, which is your well-being. Practice some mindfulness, choose again, challenge those negative thoughts, and apply some gratitude. Focus on the positive and the good in your life. The key thing, you can change the narrative of that inner critic and the tone of that inner voice in your life. You can work with it. It's absolutely possible. And if you want to learn more about how to choose again, here's a link to the Gabby Bernstein episode on the Inspired Evolution podcast. If If you enjoyed this, you're going to love that. Check it out now.